Well, there's been a lot of maintenance going on in the parks. We're excited to talk about what's happening and what we'd like to see happen. The cost of a Disney vacation is kind of out of control. We're going to talk about that and so much more tonight on ParksCenter. Welcome to ParksCenter for February 23rd, 2025. I'm your host, Rob Whiteside. Thank you guys, as always, for being with us. We appreciate you. If you have not already, please subscribe to this channel. It's WDWNT TV for more great content. Of course, give us a thumbs up as it helps people to find us. And tonight, this is your illustrious panel. Get ready. Hold on. They're all here. It's starting with Stephanie.
Hi, everybody.
And Allie.
Hello, everyone. Whoa, cracky.
No, Allie, not cracky. And
Voice
Shannon.
Yeah, I'm just here for the halibut.
Whoa, no. Thank you guys so much for being with us. We appreciate it. We've been off for a couple weeks, so we did want to kind of catch you guys up on some of the things that have been happening in our absence when Disney news strikes and you are on a hiatus, and it was mostly because the NFL asked us, hey, could you just back off for a second so we can have the Super Bowl? We were like, okay, yeah, we understand. A lot of things happen, and a lot of them we want to talk about. Can't always fit them into the 60-minute format, so we decided to do something tonight called ParksCenter Rewind. I'm going to read some of the titles of some of the things that happened that weren't quite big enough to run the show. We're going to let each of our panelists pick one to talk about. In the words of Slinky Dog, hang on. Need to, let's see, talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic. I'm just kidding. All right, so speaking of topics, all right, so the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl, and Jalen Hurts was celebrating at Magic Kingdom and at the parade, so there's one. All the Volcom stores are closing, which also includes the Billabong store, which is right at the bottom of everybody's favorite garage, the Line Garage. And then the Manatees came back. We had all kinds of stuff on the internet saying, hey, the Manatees are gone forever, but they weren't. They were just getting swapped out. And then they announced a lot of stuff happening for the Season of the Force at Disneyland, including the tease that Luke Skywalker was coming. I've passed it here. Anyway, you get it. He's coming. And then nothing. That's awesome. There it is. The red car closed. I hope you guys are taking notes. You're going to have to talk about this. And Epic Universe had a tease of all of their brand new food coming to Epic Universe. That's a lot. Those were the highlights. So I'm going to start with Stephanie, and we'll go clockwise. Which one of these would you like us to talk about, or would you like to talk about more?
I'm going to start with Barbara Manatee. Any VeggieTale fans out there? That's what that's from. They have a song about it. Yeah, so I love the Manatees. That's something that we would always take the kids to see whenever we were there. And this time we didn't go. I mean, we went, this past week. We didn't go into Living Seas at all, honestly. And yes, I still call them the Living Seas, not the Seas with Nemo and friends. But I do like the fact that even though Little Joe is gone, even though the Manatees are not there anymore, they are bringing some back for rehabitual stays to kind of get them ready to be re-released into the wild and that sort of thing. So they will be there partial time. I guess it's not going to be full time. Sort of like when they took out the Lion Pride and they put in a new Pride. And, they wanted to allow the lions to they were getting older. They wanted them to, go off into this Hakuna Matata sunset or whatever on their own terms and not have a bunch of guests yelling at them and horns beeping and things like this. So I'm glad that they're trying to be forward thinking of the animals and what they, need in the future. So yeah, I'm glad they're still going to be around. Uh-oh. Muted.
Nope. Actually, I was going to say that I think we all got a little freaked out by the headline that said the Manatees closing, and so I think it was Little Joe's leaving, and that's sad. But it's nice to see the new ones, and they're cute. I got to see them this past week, so that was awesome. Shannon, which is the one that you want to talk about?
I love the Manatees too, but I'm going to go with food. And as a non-universal park goer, Food is not the first thing I think about when I do consider going to Universal. So Epic Universe has piqued my interest. I would like to go at some point, but again, not for the food, more so for the attractions and the lands. However, the food looks not bad. I think they're taking notes, right? Like I tell people all the time, a big part of the reason why I go to Disney is for the food, is for the dining. And I think Universal is keeping a close eye on Disney about that and trying to compete. So good for them. Maybe I'll try it someday.
Okay. Allie, what? I hope I know what you're going to talk about, but what are you going to talk about? Which is the one you want to talk about?
Well, I had manatees was my first thought. I saw them today. They're so
Oh.
cute, but
You can still say
they're
that.
so cute.
You can still talk about them.
No, we can talk about the red car trolley. Is that what you were hoping?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's already back out and now sitting there. Ugh, like it's sad because it was an original. For me personally, I'm a little bit dingy on land. That's why I was a swimmer. So there was a lot of times where I would almost like hit that thing or get hit by that thing. Sober, mind you, for Allie doing this. I swear. But it's bittersweet because like the park's moving in a different direction. So hopefully the changes are really good. But of course, it's always super sad to see something so iconic be closed. But bittersweet. We will see how this all ends.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it didn't really make sense rolling back down the streets of Hollywood, turning right,
Right.
and passing the Guardians Tower, and then
Right.
sloping into Avengers headquarters.
I
Now,
remember
if you
sitting
put,
at
like,
Pim's watching that one time. I'm like, this is weird. Like,
this is
I'm
surreal,
with you
right?
guys.
Yeah.
It's,
I mean, if you
it's
throw
weird.
Agent Carter on it, maybe. But other than that, it was a little weird that was rolling in there. So I figured
Yeah.
it was only like a matter of time before they got rid of
Yeah.
it. So that makes sense. But anyway, like I said, that was our little ParksCenter Rewind, talking about some of the stuff that we may have missed that we're not going to be talking about tonight. But we want to talk now about maintenance. It's the thing we talk about a lot. There are a lot of things that we as regular Disney park goers are so picky about. Like, I get it. Like, my wife every now and then will go like, really, that's a problem for you? Like, just enjoy the magic. And I'm like, oh no, I enjoy the magic. I just need this piece of magic to work. And right before we got on the show, I think it was Shannon was asking Allie about the cannons at Rise of the Resistance. I think the ones in California are working, the ones in Florida are not. There's obviously Disco Yeti has all been on our minds as Disney park goers forever. That has been a problem. And then, now there's a couple little things that drive me crazy when I'm in an attraction. It used to be Splash Mountain, the Brer Rabbit that would bounce and then go back around and then come back and bounce again. When he wasn't working, anybody who hadn't ridden that attraction before was like, this is a great attraction. I would just stare as we go by just to see if he's working, is he not working? Can you see the ears? Is he hidden back behind there? And we see a lot of issues like that. So I do think there's a difference between refurbishment and maintenance. They do a great job with refurbishments. I think they put everything on a schedule.
Yeah.
We see, obviously it drives me crazy when I see this area being refurbished for your future enjoyment. And I think about that Wisconsin family who is going for the very and only time. And it's like, this isn't being refurbished for your enjoyment. This is being refurbished for somebody else's enjoyment. But Stephanie, let me talk to you about this because I know there's some things that got fixed this week that are so random, like the nipper tail wagging at Space Mountain, the anchor coming out, the shark coming out at Nemo, and then they replaced the projectors at Buzz Lightyear, which is like one of the oldest projectors they had, which is not necessarily, I guess that counts as maintenance, but I know you have strong feelings.
Yeah, so I rode Buzz, and I'm going to be honest, I didn't notice a difference, so sorry, guys. But yeah, as I don't know what the article was written, like exactly when they published it, but they talked about the ice skater in It's a Small World and how she had been missing for years, right? And then all of a sudden she comes back. Well, I can tell you, as of Friday, February 21st at 7:15 p.m., she was not turning. So even though she came back, she still needs some maintenance. I think they still have a few things to follow up on. But I'm glad to see her back. It was so noticeable because I was thinking, why is she there? Is she supposed to be doing something? And she's like the newsboy. She's turned to the back and you can't even see her pretty face. So she's just stuck in the back.
I have a theory that the newsboy in you're talking about the one in Spaceship Earth. I have a theory that he has no face. It's just like that they didn't even bother to like put like Woodrow Wilson's face or whatever they do with the presidents on the rest of them in there. It's just no face. That's what I imagine is there, and that haunts my nightmares. But when I was riding Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, you get around the corner where the hurry in the carnival, and you're like, is it going to be B mode this time, or are the balloons going to go up? Nope, it's B mode. There's the animation going across, and then we get through the room, and you get into the room with the jungle room where you're supposed to see Mickey and Minnie in the brush up in the middle there, and they haven't been working in a long time. That's something too that like they're just like, I guess this ride can work without that. Shannon, you're kind of giving some amens over here. What are your thoughts?
I'm actually not going to go with an attraction. I'm going to go with my beloved Stormalong Bay. And what are you doing? You're taking jackhammers to it. I'm very nervous about it, about its well-being. I miss it very much. And I think it's robbery that Disney's still going to charge people like $800 a night to stay at the yacht club. And there's no way you're not hearing that noise and you can't enjoy the pool. So I hope that she gets the facelift that she needs and she will come back better than ever.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, Allie, you have to go and investigate these things when anybody says, hey, there's this thing that hasn't been churning for 19 years, but it's churning now, and you have to go get that picture, which, by the way, pausing this, Epic Universe, that gateway with the thing turning at the top, I give it 6 months, and that won't be turning, but that's just me. So what are your thoughts on all this, Allie?
I think it's great that they're fixing things. Again, it's stuff like that I probably wouldn't notice, like being new to Disney World, but like people that come all the time or like you said, have their favorite things that just haven't worked or sometimes don't work. Like for me, it was Disneyland Pirates. That scene right before everything starts on fire, like half the time the stuff wouldn't be spinning or the pirates wouldn't be chasing each other. And you're just looking at it and you're like, can we just fix this? But yeah, like you said, they send me out now. Like the chum moving on Nemo, that has been down for a while. And then still every time I go to Magic Kingdom, there's still a few animatronics in the graveyard scene that are not working. So hopefully one day I will go and they will actually be working again. So it seems like they're making their rounds, which is good. But
yeah. And correction, obviously, I said anchor, but it was chum that was moving.
Chum's in and out of the ship, Yep.
Well, that makes all the difference on that ride.
Totally, life changing.
I mean, but the problem is on that one, there's so many things that kind of don't move that it's sort of like really hard to tell what's supposed to move. But yeah,
right.
That's definitely a thing. We have a super chat. I don't know if you're up for this or not, Shannon, but here we go. Uh-oh. There we go. There we go.
Maintenance issues.
Lots of maintenance issues. You guys are getting your money's worth. Don't worry about it. We're everything's fine. This is from Jungle Cruiser that said, Rob, you missed the start of the new Avengers rides construction starting at Disney California Adventure. We have mini mounds of dirt. Awesome. Thank you so much, Jungle Cruiser, for the super chat. I did want to say though, I didn't include construction in this, and I feel like that falls under construction. And honestly, I was going to say I feel like there's maintenance, there's refurbishment, and then there's construction. We have a lot of construction that I kind of skipped this week. They were, anytime they pull an animal out of Big Thunder, we cover it. And it's like
we do.
Like today it's the mama possum and tomorrow it's the baby possum, and anyway, so I didn't talk about that, but yeah, there's a lot of construction going in both parks and Disney, or both coasts on Disneyland and Disney World. So a lot of things that we will continue to talk about as we go. We do try to space it out so we're not kind of mentioning the same construction to you guys over and over again. But that is good news that they're finally working on Avengers Campus. I cannot wait to get some more Avengers out there. That's going to be awesome. All right, let's talk Flower and Garden Festival. So the Festival of the Arts is about to come to the close, and I actually made a little thing for you guys because I care so much. Here's a festival schedule. Festival of the Arts is closing tomorrow. And then Disney California Adventure Food and Wine Festival opens on February 28th. Flower and Garden at Epcot opens on 3/5, and Universal's Mardi Gras ends on 3/30. So Flower and Garden, it used to be my favorite, honestly. I used to love the Flower and Garden Festival because we weren't really into the food and wine. Then food and wine was a really big deal for us. Festival of the Holidays I love, but Festival of the Arts is one of my favorites, or is my favorite now. So one of the things that we've noticed along the way is that the topiaries, which are synonymous with the Flower and Garden Festival, are already getting placed. There's Captain Hook and Peter Pan. Tigger and Winnie the Pooh are up there. Also, the Butterfly Landing Playground is being built. This was one of our favorite things about Flower and Garden, and Stephanie, I'm imagining this is a big one for you too. Is it's a place to, like, you could pull over to the side and like let the kids go crazy. They have a playground right behind Creations, and now this one is coming back sort of to this area over by Imagination. Is this something your kids look forward to?
Oh yeah, it's something I look forward to because it lets them run around to get their energy out, and then they sleep in the stroller. It's great. No, I think the last one I remember doing with them was a few years ago, and it was the Sound Garden, and they had like different things that you could hit and touch, and it would make all these percussive type sounds, and it was really neat. So yeah, and I love the butterfly walkthrough. That was something we did last year with my daughters, and absolutely loved it. Butterflies all around you, you know, and you could pass them from finger to finger. That was also really neat. But yeah, Festival of the Arts is something that I really enjoy. I was happy to see that the topiaries were coming up this week, so we got some pictures with some early topiaries. The Tinkerbell one, adorable. I loved all the little fairy houses that they have there. That's the usual spot where they have the tea pouring for the Festival of the Holidays. So it's right there by the Rose and Crown, and it's really pretty. It's a really pretty spot. I also love Captain Hook, and I got to see Elsa and Anna, but I didn't see her new cape, so that's something that I'll have to look forward to next time. But I love the topiaries.
And I know you were talking about Soundgarden. My favorite song is Spoon Man from Soundgarden, so I don't know if you guys have heard of that one. No? Nobody? Sorry,
No.
I don't know. It just felt right when you said Soundgarden. That's all I could think of. So another thing that's happening is that the this area of Communicore Hall, which we've mocked, I say we, probably more me, a lot, it actually paid off a little bit for this festival. I think they did a good job with the Broadway series. They're talking about bringing more, like a horticulture gallery to Communicore Hall for the Festival of the Holidays. I mean, Festival Holidays, for the Flower and Garden Festival. So that's pretty exciting. I love it. I would love it to not suck. That's really all we can really ever ask for, is for it to not suck. Allie, is this your first time reporting for Flower and Garden, or did you guys do that last year?
This will be my first time reporting from there. The first time I went was last year when I was out here for that race that you and I did, the springtime surprise race. So I didn't have a ton of time to really enjoy the festival. So it's been cool to see the topiaries go up, and hopefully I'll get to actually try some of the food. But yeah, the topiaries look really, really good. I like that they have Phineas and Ferb. That's cool. I think they said it's been 8 years since they've had them. It's been a hot minute, but yeah, the flowers look absolutely beautiful. It is a little bit like worlds colliding, I feel like. So you're looking at your artwork, and then they still have the topiaries. I wish they'd maybe give it a little more breathing room, but either way, it seems like they're just jamming the festivals down our throat, and I'm kind of here for it. So I'm excited to opening day.
I was actually going to say, I feel like with those topiaries there, it almost feels natural, like when we're there for
it's weird.
Like
I don't hate it, but it's weird.
Like, don't leave the Christmas wreaths up for, for the holidays.
Right.
But I feel like you could leave the topiaries up because they look so beautiful.
They fit with the theme.
Yeah. I was shopping through the clothes and merch that they had, and I thought of Shannon when I saw this. I thought, she is really going to rock this outfit. I don't know. Is there any others you saw, Shannon, that you liked, or is this a good festival for you? Or
Oh man, I'm jumping at the bit to get there. No, but I just want to know, where are the sporks? What happened to the sporks? Bring back the sporks.
Well, I mean, I guess they actually haven't announced any plastic in specific plastic for this festival yet that I've seen. I mean, we had the Figment light bulb for the Festival of the Arts, so maybe maybe they'll bring a spork. Maybe they'll treat you right. There's the Chippendale spork, the Figment spork, and the, of course, Spike the Bee spork. Were there other sporks, or is that all you have in your collection?
I never got the Figment one. I only have Spike and I have Chippendale.
That is tragic. I am so sorry for you.
I know.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I have a bunch of sporks from Disneyland. Did you not get those? Remember when Disneyland did them? Tropical Hideaway had like tiki themed ones. I remember having to get a bunch with Jason. I don't know what happened to those. Okay.
No,
anyway,
don't have
moving on.
those either.
Do you have some, Allie?
I don't know.
Rob's
if those
like, can you
survived the
send
move.
them my way?
Yeah.
They've got to be somewhere in a box. I will look.
Can you shoot me a couple of those in the mail? That's where I need them. I need them here. I need to have them because they're plastic.
I will look.
We'll talk a little bit more about plastics in a minute. So moving on to the Food and Wine Festival in California. I've talked about this before. Allie, I was out there with you one year when you were covering this and doing your thing and going around and sampling all the foods. And it was with one of our former reporters who was like, anything that was left, he was putting in Tupperware. It was a crazy thing. Anyway, which is weird when everybody takes a bite of churro and then you take the rest of it home. I don't know. I thought that was weird. But more power to them. It's expensive food. So the Food and Wine Festival in California, I love how different the foods are out there. They really kind of go over the top with the food choices that they have. I think the one that I always talk about, Allie, was the mac and cheese, the peanut butter and jelly mac and cheese with
That was
Pop
so
Rocks in
bad.
it. Well,
So bad.
Already it was peanut butter and jelly mac and cheese, and I thought, okay, well that's just going to be just the carb part of it, just the noodle. No, they threw the cheese in there too, and so like you bite into it, and then all of a sudden it's like the Pop Rocks kick in. You're like, what are you doing? But again, they take a lot of. I feel like they make it more interesting out there for that. I mean, and you've experienced both. What are your thoughts?
I think the California one is always way better with the food. I was looking through some of the booths are already up to see what some of the food items were. Of course, it's making me sad that I probably won't make it out there for that. But yeah, that mac and cheese with the steak was always one of my favorites. They had a couple new dishes that looked really good. There's one Hawaiian themed dish that I'm a little concerned about. We won't tell Kevin about that because I'm sure they will ruin that. But they usually have pretty good drinks. I love the Cluck Noodle Moo booth. I hope they keep that forever because that's just hysterical to me. But they usually have some kind of mid-level tacos as like a homage to LA. They try, but But it's a good festival out there. They try really hard to keep the locals happy, and like you said, they can take more liberties out there and make the food more interesting. But looking at the prices now living out here, I'm like, wow, it is so much more expensive out there. Like wild.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you too. Is that one of the things that they offer out there is that Sip and Savor Pass. For anybody who's going for the first time, would you recommend buying a Sip and Savor Pass?
Yeah. As long as you're gonna like buy some of the more expensive food items, it's absolutely worth it. If you want to try 4 or 8 things, which most people do. That Snickers macaron, however you say that, that's coming back. That thing is amazing. Absolutely get that.
It was really weird, though. The other thing is, and I think we've talked about this before, is that the California Food and Wine and then Festival of the Holidays, they do things differently, that you can go up to one counter and you can order stuff from like 8 different booths at the one, and then you go chase it at the other. So every booth has 2 lines, as opposed to what seems to make sense to me, like the Festival of the Arts, is you walk up to the register, you order, then you carry your receipt around the corner, and you hand it to the person who rips it and says, we need 8 flights all day. And then they give you your stuff and you move on. In this one, you wait in line to pay, and then you wait in another line to do that. And that line may have people who weren't in the first line because they paid over by San Francisco. And it's weird, but didn't seem weird to you.
If you know what you want, though, like it saves you from waiting in an extra line every time. But make sure you get all your food the day that you buy it. You cannot get food the next day. Don't ask me how I know.
Well, I know that because I was with you and I bought something at a booth, and then when I got to the other one, the line was around that lagoon. And
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, I went back to you and handed you my receipt. And I was like, well, enjoy that. I have a plane to catch because I'm never going to make it through that line. And so I had already paid for it. And then I got to that line. I was like, are you kidding me? I don't even remember what the food was. Like, I don't know. Whatever it wasn't as good as that line was. It wasn't equal,
Right.
I don't think, to what that line was. But it was still just very strange to me that you wouldn't have known the line was that long till you got there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a thing. Let's talk about plastics. Let's talk about all the plastics that are out there. The one that floored me was the announcement of the carousel popcorn bucket that they made, and they made this announcement. And I think the first person to message me was Allie, knowing I was coming out there to Florida, and she said, "You can get your own damn plastic." So
I worded it nicer than that. I said,
So I
"Yay, you can get
did.
your own bucket."
So I
Proud of you.
did.
Wow.
And it's Jimmy Choo, which I not Jimmy
Yeah,
Choo.
it's cool.
Joey Choo, not
Jimmy
Jimmy.
Choo.
Oh,
Joey.
I was
Those are
like,
shoes.
Jimmy Choo.
Those
Yeah.
Those are shoes. Those are shoes. Joey Choo, right? Isn't he the artist?
Yes.
And like he bragged about it online. I was like, wait a minute, they don't usually highlight the artist. And then when I got to the booth to buy it, it was on the card. Like, you know, at the booth. It was really funny though. The thing cost $30. My wife, who does not really follow along with popcorn buckets, nor does she buy into the whole lore about it, she just puts up with me. We got there and there was a sign that said popcorn bucket $14.95, which of course is the regular park bucket. And then when they were like, that'll be $30, she was like, are you freaking kidding me? So anyway, that was one that released last week. The other thing is that Captain America had several that released, including a couple different ones at the AMC theaters, and it was so nice to see Anthony Mackie at the Disney Springs one holding that popcorn bucket that they had there when he came down. I don't know if we have a video of it here, but he literally came down the steps, and you can see it here, him holding the Captain America popcorn bucket that they sold there, which was, they didn't sell that at the Disney parks. What they sold at the Disney parks was the sipper, which also I love. I love this sipper. I don't know why. It's a smaller version of the shield, but like it has a backpack, as if I would ever wear it as a backpack. But it's like, looking at that
was
price,
$30. What?
$30.49 for that, and again the one here is, this is $30, and it has a music box,
It's
and it lights up
massive.
and it spins, and you could actually put popcorn in it. I don't know how much liquid you could actually put in that sipper. So yeah, it's pretty amazing. I asked all of the panelists if they'd like to talk about this. Only one said yes.
Just because I like to support you.
I appreciate
No,
you.
I think I'm staring at the carousel bucket. I didn't buy it for me. I bought it for a friend. But deciding if I want it, it's absolutely match. I don't know how I feel about that, which is the one thing where I'm maybe not going to buy it, because it's so big. I don't know where it would go. But there's been just a ton of stuff from Disneyland. They had that Valentine's bucket. They had that Baymax zipper. Yeah, the Captain America zipper. I feel like there's one or two more things also probably coming out. And then I'm sure there's going to be something for us, and then something coming for the 70th. Actually, I'm sure there's going to be a bunch for the 70th. But yeah, they're killing it with the popcorn buckets. Like, they've been really good.
I'm waiting to see if it's like Walt's frozen head is the popcorn
God.
sipper thing with the 70th, because we're leaning we're leaning into the whole Walt
Rob.
Disney thing, and I know it's horrible. What am I even thinking? I'm gonna have to.
I'm not
This is
buying
the
you
one that cracks me up, though. That this was a
my
AMC
God.
movie theater release, and I looked at this, and we had, when this was first announced, we had Allison on the show, who hates all things that are merchandise, and I was like, you think all the rest of the stuff is bad? Wait till you see this. They literally said to themselves, people will buy anything that we tell them is a popcorn bucket. They will literally buy anything. We'll prove it to you. We're gonna make a dog bowl.
It's clever.
I mean, one last thing before we move off of this one, Allie, is this this
Oh,
tiki
yeah.
mug.
Yep.
Do you have a hookup for this? Are you getting this one or what?
Yeah, Stephanie already grabbed that for me. So Of course I'm getting a mug.
Man. Look at you giving out names and everything. So the Holiday Rum Barrel second edition looks like it's still available too, or am I missing that?
I think it was still available. I think because they released it on both coasts, people didn't freak out about it or buy it. I don't know.
Gotcha.
Seems weird that one's still available, but
oh my God. All right. So we got a super chat here. And I'm glad he stepped up because Jungle Cruiser is my buddy when it comes to the popcorn buckets and things like that. But and Jungle Cruiser said, Rob, the Captain America sipper has 6 warnings about leaking. What?
for $30, it doesn't even not leak. Oh my God.
Stain your clothes.
For $30, it leaks. For $60, it leaks less, I think is how that works probably. I don't know. It is a ridiculous obsession, and yet I almost broke it. No. I can't even tell you how many people I saw holding this popcorn bucket. And actually, Stephanie and I met up at Animal Kingdom, and on my way out, I saw somebody carrying it. I was like, oh, they're selling it here? And so I went over to I was like, this can't be. Why do you have it here? Like, they were carefully putting it in a bag, so it wasn't like they were using it for popcorn. And so I went over to the popcorn cart, and I said, hey, you guys aren't selling the carousel here, are you? And the woman popcorn-splained to me. She popcorn bucket-splained to me. She was like, no, we have the Pumbaa popcorn bucket. Each park has their own buckets. That one's at Magic Kingdom. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, like, we haven't seen that happen before, right? Like, I mean,
right.
I may have gone away a little bit mad. It's fine. So let's talk about this. So there is a new addition coming to Disney Springs, and it's a new play area that's sort of like a Disney Quest. I don't know if you all remember Disney Quest. Ask your grandparents if you don't. But it's called Level 99. And so Level 99 is it looks like it's a cross between like an arcade without games and like maybe more like the Void kind of a situation because it has different rooms, but it also looks like it's sort of more geared toward escape rooms. It looks like that kind of thing. So you go in and it looks like they're going to take over the NBA. I am just on fire. The NBA space that's out there. So I want to ask Stephanie, have you looked at this? Do you miss Disney Quest? Did you ever go to NBA Experience? And will you be going to Level 99?
I never went to NBA Experience. I am not a huge fan of basketball, although my kids do play it, so I'll go and watch it. But I did go to Disney Quest. And yes, we were fans of Disney Quest at the time. You know, we were, I don't know, middle school, high school, or something like that. It was a neat thing to be able to experience. So I'm hopeful that this is something that's going to be as cool as that was. This looks a little bit more gamey to me, like as in physical aspect, not so much of a, 3D, 4D kind of thing like Disney Quest was. This is actually, like they said on their clip, that you are inside the video game. So you are the one jumping on the mushrooms and, getting to the other level, like physically getting there. So it's something that I could see teenagers loving and maybe young adults that are, needing something to do on a Friday night. I don't know about so much, older individuals like myself getting involved in, but I'm open to it. We might go. Let's do it.
But you're a mom, so you would take your kids here, although we don't know how much it's going to be, and it does look a little bit more like a grown kid situation than a little kid situation. I'm not seeing anything Bluey themed or anything like that, but...
But hey, grown-ups love Bluey too. They can make some big bucks.
True. Shannon, did you ever do Disney Quest? Follow-up question, did you ever do The Void? Same question, Stephanie, would you be doing this?
I was the queen of Mighty Duck Pinball. Actually,
that's
no,
right. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I would always get stuck in one corner, and like with Buzz Lightyear, was it called Astro Blasters? But you could get your car stuck behind that column. Anyway, I love Disney Quest, and I want to hate on this new place so bad, but I'm trying not to judge because I've never experienced it. But I don't like that it's not Disney. It's just like a third party that you could find on the street in New York City or, down the road from your house. And I'm afraid that this is going to draw in more local crowds, which is just going to take away from people who are coming from out of town as like a tourist visiting. But mostly the fact that it's not Disney.
Oh, as opposed to the NBA experience that was Disney all over the place. Is that what you're
No one knew that was going to stand. I mean, listen, maybe this won't stand a chance either. And Disney will just have to own it like Morocco in Epcot. It's like no one else wants it, so Disney's like, we're going to take it.
I'm excited. The thing with the battle axes leading back and forth like that, maybe you could put like, like bluey stickers on that if they end up buying it. I mean, that could be a thing. Yeah. All right, let's talk about this. This is kind of our biggest topic of the night, is to talk about the cost of a Disney trip. Now, let me open up with the fact that there was an earnings call, and I was going to have that as a main topic and then decided not to, but this is what I wanted to bring up. Disney experiences see global revenue growth, but operating income suffers at the U.S. parks and the Disney Cruise Line. So I'm like, wait a minute. So you added Premier Pass and you added all these other things, and I'm paying so much more money than I was before, and you still can't stay afloat? Like, what's going on? Like, it's kind of crazy to me. But then looking at it, I see that they're like, oh, we had hurricanes. Wait a minute. It's Florida. Don't you always have hurricanes? But I guess this year's hurricanes were worse about shutting down the parks and the cruise line, and so that it says that they lost 547, I believe is the number. Yes, Walt Disney World had lost a total of $547 million due to hurricanes. That's a lot for me to have to make up on my own, so thank you guys for also being out there and making that happen. But there was this article that was posted that said that Disney has concerns about rising costs of family vacations. And in this article, they list that a Disney trip for a family of 2 adults and 2 kids averages about $4,266 for a 4-day visit staying at a value resort. I was with Stephanie and her family, and her husband said to me, Disney, if I can quote him, I hope I can here. Paraphrase. He said, Disney has so many different ways to take your money. And I was like, what is that? And he was like, if you have only a little bit of money, they'll take it. You could stay at an off grounds, you could stay at a value resort, and you can bring a sandwich or whatever. And but if you have a lot of money, they'll take that too. They'll put you in a deluxe and you can do a Premier Pass and all that. I was like, that's true. Like, so, I mean, I feel like you could probably do it for cheaper, but I think if you don't know what you're doing, and you book through a travel agent or wherever, and you say, hey, look, I would love to take the family to Disney. It seems really super expensive, but then, like, taking my kids to the state fair is also very expensive, more expensive than you would think. And the same thing with the beach. The beach is expensive. So, like, Stephanie, what do you think about this? Do you think Disney is still of value?
I think it's hard to say if you've never been before. If you've been before, then you know what you're missing. Because as of today, no, I don't think that Disney is of a value that you had if you had gone back in 2012. Or even before that, go back to 2000, 2008, something like that. You had the Magical Express. You even had the check-in service for your luggage that you could do at the resort. So you didn't even have to go to NCO and go through the hassle of that. You had the express bus that would take you back. You could pay like a low fee, I like $40 or something. You'd go from backstage from one park to backstage to another park for park hopping. Yes, you had so much more value, you had more entertainment. So when you look at that, if you remember those days, then no, today is not a value. Now, fast forward to today, and let's say you're that Wisconsin family that's never been before and you're only going one time. Maybe you pay for the Premier Pass and you go through the line of every ride once and you think, hey, this was great. This was totally worth the money. So as someone who obviously has been a lot and, used to work there, I don't think it's a value anymore. But it could be again. It could be again if they really put focus back onto that. I just think that I think people maybe are recognizing that it's not what it used to be, and they're not having return guests. I think that's one of those articles actually said that people do not want to return, that they spend so much money on their first trip that they're like, that's it, once in a lifetime, and I'm done. As opposed to people with nostalgia who grew up Disney, who want to stay Disney, who want to have their kids grow up Disney and have them return guests. I think that's where Disney's losing their focus.
Yeah. Again, I've seen, like, when I go to, I don't do this a lot, but if people who were going to the Super Bowl, you can't tell me that those folks didn't spend $4,000 between, like, tickets and all that kind of stuff to. So I mean, I think that normally it feels like a value, but then the Premier Pass comes up, and I'm like, nobody's going to buy that. It's been selling out because the parks have been crazy busy, and the Premier Passes have been selling out because people's time is valuable, and we're finding out how much they're willing to pay for something like that. And you mentioned the Magical Express. We had an article about that where Disney addressed that only a third of resort guests use the Magical Express, and I'm thinking that's a lot.
That's what I was going to say. Only a third?
Yeah, I mean, but I feel like a third is a lot. I mean, if you think about it, Shannon, a third is like a third.
Oh man, I was annoyed reading this article because it gave me hope for a moment that they were going to bring it back. I mean, I agree. When you're talking about the massive hundreds or millions, I don't even know how many people visit Walt Disney World every year, 30% or 33%, whatever you want to call it, is a lot at the end of the day. So, and I've said this before, I would have just paid the same amount that I pay Mears and keep it Disney and keep me immersed. Like, it's a very, I don't know. But here we are complaining about paying for more things. So I think Stephanie made great points. I can't really top that at all. And I was a sucker this week and paid for Park Hopper Lightning Lane Pass for Disneyland. I don't think it was worth it.
Well, wait, let me back up. Just to clarify, you paid for Lightning Lane Multi-Pass, not Lightning Lane Premier? Or did you pay for Premier?
No, I'm not going to. Okay. That's just stupid in my opinion. But yes, I paid for Lightning Lane Multi-Pass, and I was foolish because I didn't know that you could not book the Lightning Lanes ahead of time. So what happened was I was on a work trip. By the time I got to the parks at 6 o'clock, there were like no Lightning Lanes left.
Oh.
So lesson learned.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah. So there's a feature on the new Samsung phone that apparently 0.5% of people used, and they had to think about whether they wanted to discontinue it or not. It has to do with the pin on the phone. Most of you all have, I know you all have iPhones, so I'm not even going to talk about that. But at 0.5% of usage, they had to think about whether they weren't going to do this or not. A third of people were using this service, and even if you're not using this service, the perceived value of they offer it. They could. Yeah. That's a good thing. And then, and the article goes on to say that if there was some conversation about bringing Iger back in, and he and Josh D'Amaro like talking, which I'm sure was just the two of them, nobody else. They just sat around smoking cigars, going, "How do we fix this?" They were having this conversation about what could they return to show a return to value, and they stopped charging for parking at Disney World hotels, which they still do at Disneyland, and it feels like they always have. So. Okay, so they stopped charging for that, and they brought in a couple other things that they say are of value, like the same day water park. Mind you, when I went this time, I got in at 7 o'clock. I was knocking on Typhoon Lagoon, going, "Hey, let me in." No, I wouldn't do it.
Nope.
So, all right, Allie, now that you live there, it must be like going to Disney for free.
No, they still get my money. They still get a lot of my money as I eat and drink my way around Epcot. It's expensive. Like, yeah, Stephanie nailed all of that. Like, she hit all of that perfectly. It's, for most people, if it's going to be a once in a lifetime, that is a lot of money. And it's, if your family has a good time, then great. And then maybe you want to go do something else next time. But yeah, if the nostalgia as a Disney adult and you want your kids to come do it, figure out a way to pay for it. But even like, I'm going to Disneyland Paris in April, and I'm already like, you know what? I want to do all the things. Like, I will pay for a lightning lane if they have it there, if I can make sure I get on all the rides. So now coming from the other side, I kind of get it. But yeah, it's gotten really expensive. I think the Disney World Pass is now as expensive as Disneyland, which is crazy to me. I remember paying like $700 for my pass the first time I got it. And now I think it's almost double that.
Well, you know what that means.
And can I
It's
say one more
time to
thing?
raise the prices on the Disneyland ones again.
Yeah.
That's how you fix that.
No,
Well,
they
sorry,
think they just
Stephanie.
did that too.
Stephanie, go
They
ahead.
did that too. And isn't the rumor that they're going to variable rate pricing? So the more
Yeah.
in demand, like this past weekend, this President's Day weekend, is super busy. And then I thought, okay, by Tuesday, Wednesday, the race people are going to start coming and everything, but that's towards the end of the week. And I thought maybe Tuesday was going to be a lull. No, it wasn't. This whole week, it was super busy. And I just kept thinking, wow, that's not the way it used to be. And now with this variable rate pricing, that week is going to skyrocket if they're going to say, okay, we're in demand, so we're going to raise the cost, the rate. Well, doesn't that mean that they want you to book your reservations and your tickets a year in advance now? Because if it's getting closer to that date, or how would they know? How do they know in a year in advance? So like, I guess I'm saying, we used to do dining reservations, that is, advanced dining reservations 6 months out. So now we're going to have to buy tickets a year out, possibly, so where it's going to be a lower rate until it's more high demand and they're going to increase. So you don't want to buy the tickets the same day, for sure.
Right.
Isn't it great to have surge pricing on tickets? Honestly, I'm not fazed by this. A, because I'm already paying for an annual pass, but B, it's because I feel like they already kind of do that. They already know when the high times are going to be, and they have already raised the tickets accordingly to match that. They already do that. That's why they make you pick your dates, not because of the park reservations, but because they want to know that how much it's going to cost you. So this, to me, feels like something they're basically already doing, but this gives them the the ability to say, okay, normally on February 28th, it's going to cost this much, but it feels like there's going to be a crowded day. So now, as the tickets start to sell out in pure Ticketmaster form, we're going to start to raise the rate, and maybe we start getting scalpers. Can we get that involved so that it's just like a Ticketmaster event?
Crazy.
Yeah. What were you saying, Shannon?
Nothing.
Okay. Nothing. Perfect. I was going back and looking. Let's talk about villains. We're talking about all this overpricing, and then we're going to go to talk about villains. So anyway, the Disney Villains Unfairly Ever After, they've announced that the runtime of this show is 40 minutes long. Again, I'm going to go to Stephanie, because again, if you have little kids, hey, let's go see the villain show. Great, you get them all in there. I can't imagine that they're just not going, is this over yet? I mean, bang for the buck, but 40-minute show. Are you going to take them to this?
I mean, maybe once. We'll see how it goes. So I don't know that the 2-year-old have enough attention span for that. I mean, she sits through all of the Anna and Elsa, the Frozen sing-along, so she loves that. So maybe it's going to be similar, and it would hold her attention. But yeah, Carousel of Progress, keeps my kids going. Okay, it's been how long now? So 20 minutes. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe you're pushing it. 40 minutes seems like a long show.
Well, and honestly, I don't know of any other shows that have been this long other than Frozen at the Hyperion. I feel like was like 50 minutes, but again, you're retelling the entire story, and you kind of know what you're getting into. Maybe, I don't know. 40 minutes seems kind of insane. So a couple things happened with villains. Not only did they release that information, but they also had Valentines that they were handing out that matched the villains that we know we're going to be seeing at this villain show. And then also they made an announcement that we're going to see the Villains Land at Magic Kingdom finally start construction probably in March. So I next month, not in a month, but in March, we're going to be able to see that happening. And Allie, I'm sure you already scheduled every day from here until the end of March to go and see the very first shovel hit the dirt.
Oh my God, it's every day with Animal Kingdom in the morning, and then we have to go check on Thunder Mountain, and then we're gonna have to add this in. It's a lot.
Get that loop. Yeah. Are you ready for a 40-minute villain show?
No, I'm not going to that.
All right.
No.
Well, Shannon.
I don't even go to that park. I'm not going to that show.
Shannon, I know you love the villains.
I do, and my hopes are pretty high on this new Villains Land. When I was standing in Cars Land in DCA the other day, I was taking it all in, thinking this is the best land that Disney and Imagine have ever built. And I'm afraid I'm going to walk into that Villains Land, and it's going to look like a part of a Six Flags theme park.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Listen, I want it to be great, everyone, for the record. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I mean, that sounds like you have low expectations. So I think they're probably gonna deliver. I agree with you, and I think I heard Allie agree with you. The Cars Land, I was not expecting Cars Land to be as amazing as it was. It is by far, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan, it's by far my favorite land over Galaxy's Edge, over Avengers Campus, over any of the others. It just top to bottom is the best, and we're going to talk about in a second how I think they've made it a little bit better with the Cozy Cones. But yeah, I agree with you. Like, Villains Land really has to bring it, especially with Epic Universe doing all the things they're doing at Dark Universe and all the things they've announced with, like, the flames on the windmill, and I hear the werewolf is an amazing coaster, and this Monsters Unchained attraction that's supposed to be like the be all end all. So I feel like that Disney better look close and see what's happening with Universal and try to kind of raise the bar with that one. Let's talk about DVC. Disney Vacation Club has a few different things they've announced. One of them, it's about the money. It's about them dollars. They've raised the price of points, $5 to $35 per point when you're buying them from Disney for the Fort Wilderness cabins and for the Polynesian Tower. So that's great. Good news. I mean, but again, people seem to keep buying it, so I guess they know what they're doing from that standpoint. Also, the DVC Lounge that is coming to Magic Kingdom is moving along faster than I thought it was going to, because I really felt like this was something that they wouldn't move very fast on because it's really not for many people. But if you are unfamiliar, the shooting gallery at Magic Kingdom will be turned into a lounge, which is the weirdest renovation I think I've ever heard of. But that's exciting. And then they announced that the former Reflections, which is now going to be the Lakeside Lodge, is going to be rumored to have a splash pad and a lazy river. That's awesome because it gives river country vibes, because it's built on the burial grounds of river country. Disney's version of an old-fashioned swimming hole. So I mean, this is a lot to take in. Stephanie, thoughts on this before we then go to Shannon for the tea?
Yeah, I hope that they name it. I hope they name their Lazy River Country. I think that would be apropos. So, but yeah, I love that DVC is getting some love, and I think they need to have a DVC lounge in every park. Let's turn Star Wars Launch Bay. I mean, still have, some meet and greets and that kind of thing, but let's turn half of that into a DVC lounge. Let's have one in each park. So I don't know where you put it in Animal Kingdom, but maybe up there, Rafiki's Planet Watch or something like that. Maybe you have to take a train to get to it this time. Go ahead and
it's
put
just
your
a
name
closet
in.
at Rafiki's Planet Watch, and they let you in. There's like there's a Keurig in there, and that's it. Like,
that's it.
I mean, I've thought they were going to take away the one at Epcot for so long, and so we went this past trip, and they had said it had been renovated, and I went up there and went, was it? Like, it looks very much the same to me. Like, I thought they were going to go like they did with the Star View at DVC Lounge that's in Disneyland, and it's so to me so cool because there's a lot of like retro paintings and artwork and things like that, and you can stand out on the balcony and look over the park, and that to me is the best one. But I hope they keep it, and I think they should, especially as much as they want people to buy from Disney. That's the trick too. If you buy them aftermarket, you don't get those perks, and also you have to upgrade to Moonlight. What's it called? The Magic? I forget. I think I paid it. It's
Moonlight
$99.
Magic.
No, it's not Moonlight Magic.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it was an upgrade.
I don't know why I did it, but I did the same thing.
Right. So when I went this past time, and I'm so sorry for anybody that doesn't have DVC, you guys are probably thinking like, why are you even saying this? So I'm going to cut this off in a second. But I went this last time. Membership Magic is what it's called. So I went and spent the $99, which is Membership Magic, because I felt like I already can't get off the wait list, and I already can't get Moonlight Magic, and I already can't get all these things. This might give me a leg up, which is how Disney does it, aka Premier Pass. So I paid that money, and I was standing in line for the one at Imagination, and they were like, yeah, it's going to be like 30 minutes. And the person in front of me said, hey, I bought the Membership Magic. And they're like, oh, well, we'll put you to the top of the list. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
So that is one of the features you get. The other one was like they close it at 5 and at 6 they open it up for characters. And you can do characters if you're staying in a DVC on points.
Oh my
were
gosh.
Prohibited, not
So many
valid
rules.
in Alaska or Hawaii. Yeah, it's just so many rules. Yeah. So let's talk about from DVC to counter service. So there was a couple different counter services I want to talk about. One of them is the Cozy Cone in California has a seating area, Allie. Like, where has this been all my life? I mean, are you excited about this? You can't wait to go out there or what?
I'm not going to go out there just for that, but it looks good.
Sure.
They needed more. Yeah, they needed more seating over there. Like anytime I get anything from Cozy Cone, I'd usually end up over at Flo's trying to get a table over there. So this is great. Like more seating, more shade. I think it was a really, really smart move and a really good thing to do. And it looks cute too. Although I think it's already being refurbished again. I think I saw that come through that they were fixing something, even though they just opened it.
What? Are you kidding me?
No, I think that was somewhere. Maybe they didn't run the article, but that was definitely, that photo was dropped.
What is it? Is it like Toontown? It's already broken?
Yeah.
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 Well,
Yeah.
I love Cozy Cone. It was almost really frustrating the way it was set up before because you had the separate cones, and if you wanted one thing, you had to go wait in this line, and then if you want something else, you had to go wait in this line. I feel like I'm complaining about booths at Disney California Adventure again. But,
Yep, you are.
Now they have the seating.
So wait,
area,
so now they're doing the thing there that you were complaining about earlier, and now you like it that they do it at Cozy Cone, but you don't like it that they do it for the festival?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Exactly. But here's that area. So it's themed towards. This is a weird gazebo, and it makes me think of how people said that they got that Madame Leota's shop off of like Shacks R Us. This looks like they went to Sam's Club and got an outdoor gazebo and they put red on it. But at least it has a seating area, which is great. And I don't know what this area was being used for before, but it's nice that they have this little seating area back here. So yeah, that's definitely cool. At the same time in Florida, Woody's Lunchbox is the same thing. It had like 2 counters, which is why I think it didn't win when we did a counter service thing back in News Tonight a long time ago. But this one now is going to have some like covered seating. So again, I assume you've been out there to see this one. Allie, you said you don't go to this park. Is that in your contract? You don't go to this park?
It's like, don't send me there unless you absolutely have to. No, I think I've seen it a few times. Any seating and any shade they're adding to that land is really much like very needed. So all of the shade, all of the seating, please give people somewhere to sit. And please give us some shade. I don't know why we have to ask for that.
Because Does that make sense? By the way, I did find that photo you were talking about where they've already put a scrim over this thing. So they opened it, and this is, I thought this was before they opened it, but this is after they opened it.
That's after.
What happened to it?
I don't know. Maybe they thought, maybe they said what you said. It looked cheap, and they're going to get something else.
I mean, maybe? I don't know. I think they could just take it away and just go, hey, guys, there's places to sit down here, and then we'd be fine. Yeah.
Tables and shade here. Enjoy.
Yep. Let's talk about Disneyland's 70th. So Disneyland has announced a couple things that are happening for the 70th. One of them is if you're a Magic Key holder and you do not have a reservation for Disneyland on May 16th when all of this opens, there isn't any. You're gone. They're out. So... yeah, you're already out of luck. You're already behind the curve.
I got mine.
Did you really?
I don't know if I'm going, but I figured I'd just grab it, and then I can always dump it if I don't want it.
So wait a minute. Isn't there a possibility, though, for you to be able to go to DCA and then Park Hop at 11?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just checking.
DCA reservations
It's not like
are open.
DCA's not going to have anything, right? Like...
Well, unless everything is like shut down by 11, then I guess we're still going to be okay. But obviously, for a lot of these anniversaries, they will have some sort of presentation first. I'm betting that happens probably around rope drop. So, if you want to keep an eye out for that, that may be one of the things. One of the things, though, that we ran a headline for on this network was Small World's changing their song, and it's like, yeah. But because they're adding the one verse that Richard Sherman wrote, so it's still going to be the same song, but with an additional verse for the 70th anniversary. I'm kind of excited about that. I think that that's going to be cool to be able to do it. It doesn't say that it's lasting forever, and it doesn't say it's coming to Florida. It just basically says that it's going to happen for the 70th. And then at the same time, we also have some new costumes for Mickey and Minnie that are for the 70th. I don't know how this equates, Shannon, to like the 70th. If I saw Mickey walking around in that, I would go, that's because it's the 70th. That makes so much sense, doesn't it?
What is that jacket?
I don't know. You were just out there. Are they getting ready?
Not that I saw. But no, I don't know what to think about that decor. It is not screaming 70. I was there for, I want to say, was it the 60th or it must have been the 60th, the Diamond anniversary.
Oh, that was so good. Yeah.
That was a good one. This looks like we went to the sale aisle at Party City.
Wow.
R.I.P.
Wow, Disneyland's getting a lot of hate.
Sorry.
No hate. Jungle Cruiser messaged me and said that they were taking down the signage outside of the Opera House. Is that right?
Yeah.
I think they're getting ready for the Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln / Great Moments with Walt Disney to come.
That was
but
delayed.
That's been delayed.
Yeah.
So even though it's coming during the 70th, it has been delayed for now. So that's a thing. A little bit of a disappointment, but I'm anxious to see this show. I think everybody has an opinion about whether they think it's going to be a good thing or not. So I think we all are anxious to go see it. It looks like it's going to be a rotating thing where we're going to see Walt during one, and then we're going to see Abe during the other. It's going to be exactly like Beauty and the Beast sing-along and Impressions of France. It's going to be exactly the same. So it's like they're going to rotate together. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, excited for the 70th anniversary. Zootopia is coming to Tough to Be a Bug, and again, a headline we had was Muppets going to Tough to Be a Bug. Just the glasses, folks. Just the glasses. So apparently they're run out of the bug eyes. You get the purple shades until they switch it. It'll be interesting to see what they do for Zootopia. But they are closing this attraction. If you want to see Tough to Be a Bug, and the last time I saw Tough to Be a Bug, it was in tough shape because Hopper wasn't working. But why would you fix him now? Because you know that thing's going away. But the Tough to Be a Bug show closes on March 16th, which is crazy soon, I feel like. And part of me is like, oh, Tough to Be a Bug is closing, but this attraction scared the bejesus out of my kids. And so I feel like
it was a one and done for me.
Yeah? Okay. So I feel like now it's going to be better that we're going to be able to have something a little bit more family friendly in there. But I swear, Allie, I thought when they announced this that the name of this was It's Better Together. But no, it's better Zoogether. Thoughts?
I I could not be less excited for this, so I really have not been following any of this. Tough to be a bug is, yeah, that's one couple times I was like, I'm good here. They can shut that down. What did you say they are naming it? It's better
It's Zoogether. Yeah, right at the bottom of the screen. It's
Zoogether.
better Zoogether.
Oh my God, please stop with that. That's horrible.
Well,
I hope
so
it's great, but there's nothing to do at Animal Kingdom right now. There's nothing to do there. There's like 3 rides, and that is it. Like,
please tell Desi that, because every time she's on, she's like, "It's the best park," and I'm like,
"Not right now. It's not."
Like, I don't hate it, but it's not. So anyway, Jennifer Goodwin did a video for the Disney Parks Instagram that you could check out, and she walks in and she says, "Hi, Clawhauser," to a toy, and then she goes and she records her voice, but you don't hear the music for whatever the song's going to be, and she puts zoo in front of everything she says, and I'm like, I don't remember the movie being that cheesy, so I don't know why.
No. Okay, I'm not going. I'm definitely not going now. That sounds horrible.
Great. Okay, so mark you down for a no. So now you don't go to Hollywood
No
Studios
villains,
and you're not
no
going to go to
Zootopia.
Animal Kingdom. Basically, if you're looking for Allie, you'll find her at Epcot. Let's talk about this, Stephanie. So, because again, you got kids. There's going to be a kids park coming to Universal, coming to Texas. This is one that I feel like has been kind of like off most people's radar is this new park, and it's specifically called Universal Kids Resort. I mean, will you take the fam to this?
Oh, heck yeah. We might be AP holders to this, honestly.
Oh, AP, okay.
Yeah. Living in Louisiana, we're kind of mid of the country, right? Like, we have to fly to Florida, we have to fly to California. You can drive it. It's a long, day and a half. But we are very close to Dallas, Frisco area, and I'm super excited about this. We are at least over there a couple of times a year, and yeah, absolutely, we're gonna go to this. And the kids are young enough still that they will enjoy it. I'm looking forward to the properties that are coming. How to Train Your Dragon, the dinos and everything. I think that's gonna be fun. I hope that it's not just a lot of spinner rides. I will say that.
No, it is going to be, honestly. Like, you know what this strikes me as is it strikes me as not for me, is what this strikes me as. It's like, like when I go into DreamWorks Land, which I did this past trip, and I go, okay, I can see how kids would have a good time running around DreamWorks Land, but it strikes me as not for me, which is, it's one of those things where I feel like that's what I love about Disney is it finds this middle ground of things that families can do together. Yes. Now, some things, Space Mountain, you can't bring the little ones on, but some things you can, like, the Land or Soarin' or things like that. I mean, maybe not Soarin', but there are other things to do as a family, whereas when I go to Dollywood, love Dollywood, it's all either old people stuff, come see this Bluegrass show here, or you can watch the Bluegrass show over there, or the Bluegrass show in the back of the park, or ride the train to see the other Bluegrass show. Or it's all like Six Flags style roller coasters, which again, it's a beautiful park, but I feel like they don't have that balance of like the things in the middle for families. So this one does look to me more like a Legoland than like, say, a Universal Park. But the irony is that I feel like Universal in general has always been more for the tweens and up. So the fact that they're doing a park that is going to be for this. I find it interesting. It's not, I think we thought it was going to be a DreamWorks only, but they do have Illuminations. Minions is going to be there.
Minions.
And also, but they have a DreamWorks Puss in Boots land, and they also have a Shrek land. I feel like they should not. I feel like it should be like Nintendo Land, where like you've got Donkey Kong off to the side. I feel like Puss in Boots should be adjacent to that, and you should put something else in that land. But Puss in Boots, Gabby's Dollhouse. You guys the Gabby's Dollhouse family? Okay.
I have a lot of
Shannon's down there.
I don't know why I shook my head. If that
Shannon's
question
like,
was directed towards my family.
Heck yeah, Gabby's Dollhouse. Okay. All right, so let's go to our final topic of the night, which is no more virtual queue. There will be a moment where there will not be a virtual queue. Pay attention. There will not be a virtual queue starting February 25th in Walt Disney World because the race merchandise shop is over, so we don't have that on there anymore. Santa isn't here yet, so we don't have that anymore. And we've got so we have Tiana's Bayou Adventure and Guardians of the Galaxy, which is finally coming off a virtual queue. And I know there are a lot of people out there who think that the virtual queue is awesome. I am not one of those people because I don't love the fact that I would have to get up on my vacation at 6:55 and in the dark try to figure out how to hit that button. I swear there's been a couple times where I thought at 6:59 I was going to fall back asleep and not be able to hit that button. So I'm not going to miss virtual queue in the least. I would rather stand by for something like Tron, for something like Rise of the Resistance, or if you have to go, you could pay for a single Lightning Lane single pass. But let's go clockwise around and get everybody else's thoughts on this one, starting with Stephanie. Are you happy or sad?
I am happy. I am of the happy camp that this thing is getting chucked out the window. Hope it never returns. I probably will. They'll probably have a boarding group or some stupid thing to do to get into Villain's Land. Who knows? But I will tell you, Rob, that happened to us when we were at Disneyland in September, where I wake up, I'm on the thing trying to get Haunted Mansion Holiday, thinking, okay, I have like so many people in my party, 7 people. There's no way in heck that I'm going to get, anything early. I got boarding group number 2 or virtual, whatever. And so I had to get everybody up and get over there within 30 minutes to make sure that we were in our line to get our queue. Yes. So that it worked out fine. They let us in, but yeah, it was kind of stressful. So I'm happy to see this go for sure.
Okay, Shannon?
I think there are pros and cons of both, but I am landing on the side of being happy that it's gone. And mostly, I'm thinking about that family that Bob Chapek said from Colorado. They get there and didn't know that virtual queue is a thing, and they snoozed and they lose, and they didn't get to go on the ride ever in their entire lives, and that's very sad. So I'm here to support the family from Colorado.
The contingent from Colorado. Thank you so much. And Allie?
I keep going back and forth on this. I don't know. I feel like I'm the only one that is like, I'm never on time for my virtual queue. I'm always hours late and I don't really have a problem. Maybe I look unproblematic. They always let me in. Yeah, coming from when I lived in California, coming out here, it was so rough getting up at 7 a.m. to do that. And having to wake up early on your vacation was awful. But when the virtual queue worked and you got a good boarding group like I did today for Guardians, I had no wait, walked right into the first pre-show room and then walked right onto the ride. So when it works for you, it's great. But I do think Tiana's needs to absolutely be off. There's nobody riding that right now. It is cold here. Nobody wants to go on that. We will see about Guardians, but yeah, I agree that there's a lot of people that have not ridden it because they either can't figure out the virtual queue, they just don't want to deal with the virtual queue, they didn't know the virtual queue existed. I still, every single time I walk past Tiana's or Guardians, there's at least 1 or 2 families that can't figure out why they cannot get on the ride, and then they have to tell their poor heartbroken children, I'm sorry, and the cast member explains you can try again at 1, the Lightning Lane single things are already gone. And you just feel awful. And it's if people are willing to wait and they want to do the ride, let them wait and do the ride. As a local, that will probably help me because if I decide last minute I don't, or I do want to go to Epcot, then I can still do Guardians. Now, if I don't wake up at 7 a.m. and get a boarding group, I'm not doing Guardians. So I think ultimately it will be a good thing. It'll be weird though.
Yeah. I honestly am glad, again, it evens the playing field again. If you want to buy a Lightning Lane, you can. But if not, you can wait in line and you don't, if it's the one thing that because of the Disney marketing you came to see, you're not going to leave empty-handed if you just wait. So I know they're getting ready for changing the rope drop at Epcot so that it can. Yeah,
it wasn't vastly different. We were 50, 75 meters closer than we usually were. I assume they're going to, guess a whole bunch more people are going to come to rope drop. So I'm assuming that's just to give more space for everybody to just line up and then be this crazy mad dash to Guardians, which actually maybe that will be a good thing because everybody will go to Guardians and everything else will be empty.
I have a theory that I feel like it has been artificially inflated, that everybody feels like they have to get a virtual queue, and therefore you may not even use it, but you have to get it, which means you take the opportunity away from other people. And that's the thing is, like, if you do it every time because you feel like you have to, maybe it'll change a little bit if it's like, oh, it's a 45-minute wait. But by the way, you in a lot of cases with a virtual queue still had to wait 45 minutes. So it wasn't like, oh, I have a virtual queue, I get to walk right on. It was a virtual queue.
Unless you had an early virtual queue. Yeah, like, because I was 20 today and there was no line. We all walked right in.
Yeah. All right, so I got a couple things in the chat to talk about. First one's the super chat here real quick. Come on. There we go. And it's from Jungle Cruiser. Said, Rob, the year-round HHN attractions in Las Vegas open in August of this year. Yes, tickets are already on sale for that haunted, the Halloween Horror Nights experience in Vegas. So you can do that. I know that Universal made a bunch of announcements, including that they were thinking about doing Wicked attractions. Again, because of time, we didn't include all that. But as those things develop, we'll talk about them more. I'm sure we'll talk about the Halloween Horror Night thing a lot as we get closer to it. But thank you for the super chat on that one, Jungle Cruise. I appreciate it. Dawn was like, Rob, Blazing Fury at Dollywood. That's for the family. Yeah, that's one. And God bless Blazing Fury, because it is the best attraction that ever was. And then also, I saw our friend Desi was in the chat and said, I like Virtual Queue because I care more about my family than some random family from Colorado.
Oh,
you know what?
Desi.
Just yeah. Come on. She's just a giver. That's what it is. She's just a giver. So, but anyway, it'll be interesting to see how that shapes up. I'm sure we will have reporters out there, and I say reporters, I mean apparently Allie, because she won't go.
I'm on Tiana duty. I'm not doing. I'm on Tiana duty. I got out of Guardians.
Oh, nice. Oh, congratulations. Yeah. I'm happy for you, question mark.
I feel like that'll be less problematic because it's going to be pouring rain and cold, so there's not going to be anybody there. Who wants to go on a water ride when it's cold here? People from Wisconsin. I'm from there, I can say that. So.
I don't like it.
I don't like this.
I don't like it.
I don't like this.
Yep. Well, let's just pray to the gods of Star-Lord Steve that we are going to be okay and that there won't be any craziness when they drop the virtual queue. That'll be great. All right, thank you guys so much. I know we're over here tonight, but we want to give a shout out to our wigs, the WDWNT Interglobe Society. We love our wigs. Thank you guys so much for being members of the family. We appreciate you. And we have a quick post show for you after this. Also, a reminder, Deep in the Plus. We do that show. It's kind of like this, only we talk about movies and such. And so this is what we've had. We had Nighttime Spectaculars last week. And if you're a Parks fan, you might want to go check that one out. Patrick and I talked. We did a watch-along with the behind the attraction of Nighttime Spectaculars, and we talked about all kinds of things that we miss and from nighttime, and we would love for you guys to go back and watch that one at deepintheplus.com. This week we're going to be doing Night at the Museum. That is, Desi has agreed to do that one with me. It is now a Disney movie, believe it or not. March 5th, Stephanie's going to be here, and we're going to talk about Snow White, the 1937 original, with the new movie coming out, the live action, and then for the 12th, St. Patrick's Day, we're going to be talking about some Disney afternoon stuff. So please join us on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. for Deep in the Plus, or check out any of the 240-some reviews that we've done so far at deepintheplus.com, and then join us next Sunday night at 9 p.m. for another Park Center. Thank you guys here so much for all of your words, thoughts, discussion. I appreciate you guys, and thank you guys out there. If we don't see you again for Deep in the Plus, have a great week. Ah, beautiful. Thank you. Let's do it again.
Oh no!
Perfect. Thank you.
What just happened?